In this last video of our course, we will illustrate how to create two course policies and how to use them in a multiple environment in the enterprise. The flow to create two course policies is similar to create one, only now we need to configure both policies in the status file and activate only one per environment. How to do that? We need a new setting that we call it active policy. The setting holds the name of the policies that we want to activate in the environment. We pass the setting through the core setting class to the status class. There, as in previous videos, header, vers, and origin are used to configure a restrictively configurable policy, and the active policy is used to select what policy should be launched. Also, in the startup, we configure a second policy without restriction. This second policy does not need any configuration. Let's see this in the code. For our demonstration, we use the same code as the previous example. This is our Netcore demo API service. The first thing that we do is create in the model the class that holds our settings. We get the same name as the previous example, core setting. Create the class and prepare the class here to speed. And core setting is very similar to the previous. We have to hold the origin, vers, and header, but also we add now an active policy. This setting helps us to set the policy that we want to activate in each environment. After that, we need to create the startup, the appropriate setting. We need to create the setting in each of the different environment. Let's begin to create the program setting. And for development, let's add the we can create the setting. Observe here that the active policy is be configured to a policy called test environment policy. We need to create this policy. Of course, we need to declare this first, but let's say that for QA we create the same. Right, and for dev we also create. For production, in this case, we using a different policy, and because the objective is to create two policies, and here we create the policy that is production environment policy with this. Now we need to go to the startup to create the two policies that we want to add to the system. Go to configure service and we add the both policy configuration. How to do that? Well, first we need to get the core setting. In this case, we need to create the variable startup. Create it. The model. This hold our policy. And now observe that we get for the section course or the course setting and put there. And how is this created the policy? Here we create the production policy, that is a restricted policy that we configure with the three parameters that we have, say the three settings that we have, and continually we set a second policy that is a test environment policy That's allow all methods is a permissive policy that allow all the combination of call to course. Then observe that we have put a name for both of them. And now the last thing that we need to do is decide who is activate. Well, we want that the activation is produced by this one setting. And that is done. Very simple. We put the core setting active policy here. That's meaning that depending of what application setting is applied over the application in the moment of the build, then this policy is setting here. In this case, if you are in production, you are using the production environment policy that use these three configuration value. And if you are in development, then the active policy using the test environment policy, and these three settings are ignored. Good. Let's first test the non-restricted policy. To do that, first let's make a small modification in our Blazor. We're using this Blazor to as the website that's made the course call. And let's add this header here to do a little more interesting the scenes. It's a build solution. Okay. Y vamos, let's see run is the other side. We are running using this setting. You see the ES Express setting is tied to develop, and develop is tied to the test environment policies, and test environment policy is our permissive policies. Let's run here. And now test the policy. There are a custom header there that is not in the policy. And in this case, because we're using the permissive policy, that doesn't matter, and the application should be able to get the information. If you see, in this case, because the custom header, the application made a prefetch. This is the browser made a prefetch instruction, and the header, the API service, sorry, return what is the policy that they have. Based on this, well, the application, this is origin, all the verb, and admit this, but that doesn't matter because they are, or the policy is permissive and include all the possible value, and you get the information. Let's test now the restricted policy, where we need to stop a service. We know that restricted policy we need to configure here in production environment policy. Let's use this, and in the launch service we have a launch setting here that respond AP production that should be used the prod configuration. We select here AP prod, and then we're running the application. Now the application is running with the parameter that is in, with the setting that is in production. In this case, the run is to be sure that's using the production setting, and is we're running now the Blazor code. Let me clean out it. And now first data we see this fail. Why this fail? This is the preflight that's giving the information about what is configured in the server. They say that is the allow control origin is okay. Well, you know that when you make a get, it doesn't matter if they are here or not. But the headers they only have authorization, and we are using a custom header in our application. You see, the access control is request a header that is my custom that is not in the policy, and for that you get a fail when you try to load the information. If you want that your work use this my custom header, then we need to uh, put in our policy this header. Let's go to the network demo, stop to go to production setting, and we can maintain authorization, but also we add here I keep my custom as a new header that is authorized to be used when a course request is done. Let's build. Running every prod. We see that we are in production. And now let's clean up. And voila, this is working. As is because when you do pre-flight, in the pre-flight, you can see that the request header from here, you see my custom is allowed, and request method is get, and the origin is also allowed. For that, the browser send the get to the server to return the information, and then the server return the information. We encourage to do more tests to see how it's affected the policy with different verbs and different combination of the policy. In a nutshell, different policies for different environments. That is our option when we're working in the enterprise. In the enterprise development, multiple environments for test and production are common. Then it is a good idea to have the possibility to apply different course policies depending on the development situation. A good practice is create a non-restrictive open policy to apply the test environment and one or more configurable policies that can be restricted by configuration in production, for example. And believe me, that is a source of enormous time consumed when you make QA. The problem when you don't have a course correctly configured. The programmer should be able to switch between policies without code modification for a maximum configuration flexibility. The example provided in this video gives you an option to implement course in your enterprise. Last page, you can find more information about our videos in www.avalonsoftware.com. If you consider this video was useful for you, please subscribe you in our channel. Thanks, and see you in the next video.